Be near me, Lord Jesus. I ask thee to stay close by me forever and love me, I pray. Let's walk God's children in the tender care and feed us for heaven. Oh Lord, I
We're proud to welcome to our Sunday Let's Have Church broadcast Apostle Susie E. Jones and the Ministry of New Life every Sunday evening at 4 p.m. on 980 AM WDDO, the glory of Middle Georgia.
Middle Georgia, help us welcome to the Saturday morning prayer and praise lineup. Forever yours, Prophetess Angela Meadows, every Saturday at 12 noon.
Leave your neck, back, and shoulder pains in the hands of Cranford Chiropractic, the personal friendly doctor with a friendly staff. Cranford Chiropractic is located at 3539 Vineville Avenue. That's 3539 Vineville Avenue in Macon. The team that works with you to help you through your pain. They lighten your load by assisting you with your insurance claims, working with your attorney, doctors to escort you through this process. Vertice from WDDO had a personal experience, and he says this is the place to go. Make that call at 478-471-0774. Make that call, 478-471-0774. Cranford Chiropractic. Cranford Chiropractic, lining you up one patient at a time. If you've been wondering where your old-time gospel favorites are, well, they are right here. I'm on my way. See the days. Every weekday at 9 a.m., where Vertice inspires us, lifts us, and takes us back with Walking Down the Lane. Come hear the oldies with Vertice on 980 a.m. WDDO. Glory.
What's it feel like when I get auto insurance from my local Progressive agent? I feel protected, like my agent is right beside me riding shotgun as we explore the mysteries of the open road. Free to soar like a pair of eagles high above the ice-capped mountains, beak filled with the cold, frosty smell of freedom.
Feel what it's like to be protected by Progressive. Call Lee Insurance and Notary at 478-254-9858. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Even while living 6 feet apart,
bad things can still happen.
If you get in an accident and have been hurt,
call us. We might be able to help you.
The Dozier Law Firm. We've been here and will be here for the duration.
Some people have seen where God has brought you from. really understand it. They don't know your story.
You don't know my story. You don't know
The things.
You don't know the things that I've come through. You cannot imagine. Pain, the trials I've had to endure. You don't know my story. You don't know the day he
I was at my lowest.
You cannot imagine the strongholds and the walls that set. But God has been faithful to me. He promised he would never leave. My story proves that God can use me. Deliverance is my testimony. You don't know
My story.
it would blow your mind.
That's the key. They don't know.
My story. Ooh,
Say it, LeJune.
you don't know my story. The anguish and the guilt that consumed me. Grateful I can tell it. For no more shall the shackles condemn me. You don't know my story.
You just don't know.
For if you did, you would lift up your hands. So just let me tell you, by faith you may as well break out and dance.
I love this about God because even though I'm not perfect,
He would never leave. My story proves that God can
in my
and
deliverance,
deliverance is
what I want to share is my testimony.
You don't know
Somebody needs to know my story.
It would blow your mind.
Can I get a witness?
You don't know
Story.
my story.
And it's through my testimony that I've overcome.
And the blood you shed delivered
I've been delivered. I've been set free. And now I have a testimony. God's favor. Love.
and peace above you.
Oh, that's right. Say it, LeJune.
That will never
God, you never leave me.
even forsake me. You don't know. You don't know.
Listen, I want you to know that
Here's my story.
life and favor. Thank you for bringing me out. You think you know, but let me tell it. Life and favor. God, thank you for your mercy. And you love me. Life and favor. Oh, how wondrous.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
And
It
good
is
evening.
time for the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwenette Westbrooks and Mr. Dumas.
Good evening today, our audience who's listening. Mr. Willie Dumas, our first vice president, will not be here today, and we miss him today. So I'm gonna be stepping in as host today. First, want to just express our condolences to the Foster family. Many of you may know him, and many of you may not know him. Danny Foster, that was laid to rest on this past Saturday, he was very instrumental to this community. He worked with our voting rights, making sure that people got out and voted, making sure that he was able to identify where people where areas that we needed to work on to make sure that we got people out to vote. He was very instrumental in working with the mayor that was just recently elected in Houston County, and also our district attorney here in Bibb County. He was very instrumental in working on their campaign. So we just he was laid to rest this past Saturday. I was in attendance at the funeral, but we just want to give our condolence to the family, and just he left a legacy behind. He was very instrumental and played a very huge part in a lot of campaigns and making sure that we got people out to vote. So just want to give you all that information. Rest in peace, Mr. Foster. He also worked with the NAACP for many years, also in making sure that we had the right information so we could get people out to vote. Just want to talk a little bit about that today because it's so very important. We have a 2022 election that's going to be coming up, and we have we're still in a situation where we are still having to fight for our right to vote. There's been some laws that have been put in place that create barriers for people of color being able to get out to vote. So they say that it's not it was not created for that. It was they made it harder for you to cheat. So I don't see where anybody cheated. Every different lawsuit have been filed in the courts, and the courts have not found any wrongdoing in this past election. So what we have to do is make sure that we keep our eyes on the prize. We got to continue to get out and vote. Right now, we have about 6 candidates that are running in the Republican Party for governor, and we have one so far in the Democratic race for the Democratic Party. That's Stacey Abrams for the Democratic Party, and also for the governor's race and the Republican side is we have our Governor Brian Kemp, David Perdue, our ex-senator David Perdue, Vernon Jones, Candace Taylor, Catherine Davis, Jonathan Garcia. Those are the people that are running for governor on the Republican side. So this is some things that we gotta make sure that we keep in mind, some things that we need to focus on. People that have our best interests. As you know, the NAACP does not endorse candidates, but we deal with the issues, and we have to put our focus on who's the better person that's going to be there, that's going to be able to help our communities. We're looking at Medicaid expansion, which is something that is very crucial, especially during this time of pandemic where people don't have health care. Georgia is one of the 12 states as far as effective. It's June of this year. 12 states, Georgia, out of the 12 states, Georgia is one of those states that have not embraced Medicaid expansion. And so when we look at that, we're looking at people that do not have any type of health care after the age of 19. You're covered with Medicaid. You have to be under the age of 18, blind or disabled, or have children, like I say, under the age of 18, in order to be eligible for Medicaid. They do have some types of programs for females, as far as like getting mammograms and health checks and different things like that. But as far as when it comes to surgeries and different things like that people have catastrophic illnesses, there's no coverage for people over the age of 19. So this is very crucial. We're dealing in a pandemic, in a crisis, and we still have people that do not have health care. Now, when we look at this, some people say that, we have affordable care, and which is true. We do have affordable care, which is very critical also, because we do have people that 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 have health care. But if you don't have any income, then you're not eligible for the affordable care, because you have to have some type of income to be able to afford to pay the premiums for the health care. So we have to have somebody that's going to embrace Medicaid expansion. We're here with COVID. We've got these different viruses that's affecting the country, and we have people that cannot get health care. Now, people can say that you're not treated different when you don't have health care, but that's not true. I've worked in a hospital for over 20 something years, and people say that you're not treated different, but you are. You are treated different. You're treated different just about anywhere you go. If you don't have money and you do have money, people say you're not treated different, but you are. That's why they have private hospitals. That's why they have hospitals that they receive federal and state funding. So those hospitals are the ones like Atrium Health that provide services for people who do not have health insurance. Now, Piedmont, they do have provide some services where you can apply for indigent care after, if you're in the hospital, and they go by your income. But we got to focus on, we need something that people will have if they come down with an illness or a catastrophic illness. People need to have some type of coverage. And so this is something that we gotta make sure that when we get ready to vote, we have to make sure that we're looking at the big picture. We're talking about 50 states, and we have 12 states who are still not embracing Medicaid expansion. With everything that's going on, people are dying. People are not able to get the proper health care or treatment that they need when they go in the hospital, or even if you're going for outpatient, or if you're going to the emergency room. And so we have to embrace Medicaid expansion. It's just no ands, if, or buts about it. You have people who are 50, you have people that are 60 years old, not able to work, don't have, they may work at 60, may not have any income, but they're not eligible for any type of benefits unless they become disabled. You have people that are 62 years old, they're eligible for Medicare. I mean, they're eligible for Social Security at 62, but still they're not eligible for any type of Medicare until they get the age of 65 or 67, depending on your age, depending on when you were born. So these people are still do not have health care unless they, once you turn 62, you are eligible you can apply for medical assistance with the Department of Family and Children Services. The Department of Human Services, you can apply for assistance. But for the most part, people that do not fit in that age bracket are left without health care. So this is something that when we get ready to vote, we have to make sure that we look at Medicaid expansion. Now, when something that is true to my heart, we have to start looking at addressing the fact that people that are receiving SSI, and normally Medicaid comes with SSI. And a lot of times, what people that are normally eligible for SSI are people that have never worked before, that becomes disabled and not able to work, or you worked and are eligible to receive Social Security, but because of the maybe type of job you had, because Social Security is paid is you giving your Social Security is based on how much you paid into Social Security also, and so their income may not be at an amount, a high amount. So what happens is SSI comes in and it supplements the income to bring their income up to the level that it should be. And I'm going to give you an example. For example, a person that has worked is receiving $650 in Social Security. So the income limit right now for SSI, if you were only getting SSI, because you were just disabled, if you were getting SSI, the income limit right now for SSI is $841. That's for a person that has never worked before. So a person that has worked before, their Social Security is only $650. Then they're eligible to receive additional income that will bring their income up to $841. And then they'll also get Medicaid with that difference, that supplement. So that's another way a person that's receiving Social Security, for example, if they became eligible to draw their Social Security at 62, but you're not eligible to receive Medicare until you get 65. That's one way you will be able to get Medicaid, because you've been determined disabled, and then that income, that difference will supplement your income, the SSI. But this is the thing, the catch to SSI. And what concerns me, and I think it's, people talk about it. I know we've had different our state representatives have brought this to the floor, but nothing has moved on it. And I think our community needs to get behind this, because this is very important. Because I just do not believe that God does not want us to be poor. He does not want us to be in the situation where we have to choose between our medication or our food to eat. And so this is what I'm seeing with some people that receive it, just SSI, or people that are in the situation that are receiving Social Security, and having to receive a supplement of SSI. The income limit has not been raised for SSI since the 1980s. And so what are you saying, President Westbrooks? What are you saying that it has not been raised? So I'm going to explain it to you. If you're receiving SSI, you are only allowed to have $2,000 in the bank. You are only allowed, which they include burial. If you have an insurance policy that bills cash value, they look at that as money in the bank. So for example, if you got a burial that you're paying and it's worth $5,000 and it bills cash value, they look at that as money in the bank. So they count that. If you can get $2,000 cash value, that's like you got $2,000 in the bank. If you have if you go into, for example, if you go into Robinson Funeral Home or Bentley Funeral Home or Hutchins Funeral Home, any of the funeral homes, and you decide that you want to pay for your burial, um, your funeral, go ahead on and just pay for it. So everything that does not go in the ground is considered cash money in the bank. So that means, so what are you saying, President Westbrooks? So what I'm saying, if you go to the funeral home and you pay for your funeral in advance, depending on how much money that you've paid, some of that money is counted as though you have cash money in the bank because you can go back and get it at any time. So they look at that as cash money in the bank. They count that. People, SSI and Medicaid has been cut off because of these type of examples that I'm giving you. So this is why it's so very important about Medicaid expansion. A person, to me, that's receiving SSI, which means that you're living below the poverty level, their income shouldn't even be counted. Only a portion of their income can be counted, because this is what happens. You know, I've had to at one time help a 70-year-old woman appeal where she had received SSI as a supplement. But when you get this money, for example, if you approve for disability, when you get this money, and that's probably why they started doing it now, they start paying you when you're first approved for disability. They pay you in a lump. They don't pay you a whole lump sum. They split it up into payments. So when you get this money, they're supposed to give you a certain time limit to spend the money. For example, if you get $3,500, if you approve for disability and you get $3,500, then you're only allowed to keep $2,000 of it. You got to spend the other, the balance. If you get $3,500, that means that you got to spend $1,500 of it, and you got to be able to show what you bought with it. So that means that they're supposed to give you, and I think it's 9 months. I don't want to give you an exact date, but exact months, but I think it's 9 months. But you have to spend that money. They're not supposed to count that money against you. They're supposed to give you so many months to spend that money. But this is my concern. We know where the money came from because you were determined disabled. And so we know the Social Security office know that they gave you $3,500, so they know where the money come from. So if you put this money in your account and you got $3,500 in your account, that means that your SSI, your Medicaid can be cut off. And this is what happened to the lady I was trying to help, that I was helping. When I started looking into everything, and told the family, I said, bring me everything, let me look at it. First of all, the mistake that they made, they did not allow her the time limit for her to spend the money that they had given her. But why would you have to spend money that they gave you? You can't keep it. Does that make sense? So we have to live in poverty because that's the way the system is designed. You give me $3,500, but I can't keep it. I got to spend it because you're going to count it against me, and then I'm going to end up getting my benefits cut off because I got too much money in the bank that you all gave me. These are the type of issues that we need to be dealing with, because we should not, and this is why people are put in positions where they have to make a choice between their food and their medications. Because even though you may have Medicaid, which normally pays for everything, it normally pays for, you only have maybe like a 50-cent copay, but there are some medications that Medicaid does not even cover. So I have somebody just ask me a question. It says, and what if the spouse salary is over the poverty level? Does that count against them? And so unfortunately, and let me just say this, let me try to explain this best as I can. It depends on if you're getting Social Security or SSI. There is an income with SSI. There is an income limit, and I just had a gentleman this past weekend I spoke with in reference to this. So if you have not worked before and you become sick and you become disabled, if you have a spouse that's working, depending on how much money that spouse is making, then you will be denied your disability. You won't be able to get SSI. You won't be able to get disability because your spouse's income is too much. But if you've worked before and you put in and you paid into Social Security and you have so many quarters, then that's a different story. Does that answer your question? I hope that answered your question. That's Miss Jeanette Goff that answered the question. But that is just your spouse salary. If your spouse salary is above the poverty level, then most likely that person won't be eligible for Social Security, won't be eligible for SSI. But that's if they've never worked before and they're trying to apply for SSI. But you will, depending on how much your spouse income is, you will get denied. So that's why it's so very important that we really need to be, COVID. I know it's COVID, and I've been saying this for years. This is something that needs to be changed because I look at when we give out Thanksgiving baskets and different things like that. My focus would be on making sure that our elderly people that are on fixed incomes get these baskets because they come and they're so grateful. In the first, they say that, I'm so grateful for this because I had to buy my medicine and I just didn't know how I was gonna be able to, buy this and buy that because, you only get people that are on even getting SSI when you apply for SNAPs benefits, which is food stamps. They, I hear people talk about it. I know my mother-in-law used to get about $19. So they're, those type of people get less benefits. And so this is something that we have to we got to work on because a lot of these people have paved the way for us, and their income is just not where it needs to be, and their income is supplemented with SSI, but depending on how much resources you have, your resources are very limited in receiving SSI. So this is something that we got to look at. I know people don't talk about it a lot, but it's something that needs to be talked about because it deals with economic, our economy. It has a lot to do with our economy, the way people are living. And especially people who are elderly that does not have enough quarters into they paid into the system, but because of the type of job they had, did not pay a lot of money because your Social Security is based on how much money you paid into the system. So this is something that we gotta talk about. This is something that we gotta address with our state representative. This is something that we really need to push because we should not. This is funeral expenses has even gone up. And so if you got somebody that pays for their burial slot that pays $7,000, but then when you get ready to do your renewal for your Social Security, they find that you got $7,000 that you don't pay for a funeral home, then they're gonna count that. It's just like you got money in the bank, as I said earlier. So our people should not be living like this. So that's why I said we got to put people in office that has the best interest for the people in our community. Another thing that I wanted to hit on before I get off air today people, we got to get our folks in insurance, in insurance. And I want to say this because I see so many children without life insurance. People, disabled people without insurance. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I remember I see so many when they was talking about this weekend about the homeless people and people being homeless and then it used to be a time in the Social Security office when you had to do a renewal and you had to show that you had, if you was over someone's check, you had to show that you had these people in life insurance. And so we have a lot of our homeless people that are disabled, some of them that are disabled, where people are over their checks and they don't have life insurance. They don't even have anywhere to stay. And so this is something that we really need to focus on. This is something that I'm going to be addressing to make sure to see if they're still doing that, because they can't be. That's something that they can't be following up on. We got too many homeless people that are without health insurance. Without life insurance. Another thing that we need to look at, there are so many programs out there available that we're not aware. There's a Georgia State Cancer Program that's there for people that have related illnesses. There's certain hospitals that take this program. I know that the medical center, which is now Atria Health, it was Navis and it's Atria Health, they used to take this program because they are state funded by the state. But those programs out there help you pay for outpatient services, medications, help you pay for cancer-related illness like Graves' disease or Crohn's disease and different things like that. It help you pay for prescriptions. So these are the type of benefits that people need to be aware of. I want to make sure my treasurer just had posted something about our membership. We encourage people to join the NAACP. We do a lot of work. We may not broadcast a lot. We do a lot of work behind the scenes. But we are going to be posting a lot of the work that we do, so people will see what we do. We just want to make sure that people join this organization because it is a great organization. We help a lot of people, and we just want to make sure that people know that there is a NAACP office here in Macon, and we service Bibb, Crawford, Jones, and Twiggs County. I'm looking at somebody here says Essence O'Neill. Somebody just made a post. But I hope I answered everyone's questions.
Listening to the live broadcast of the NAACP,
and thank you for listening.
And Mr. Dumas, come join us next Monday at 4:00 p.m. on 980 WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.